What do you do when you get a microblading infection? The scariest phone call or email you can get from a client is when they're worried that they might have an infection from the microblading service you performed. This is something that every microblading artist has to be educated on because at the end of the day, an infection can happen. In this video, I'm going to share how to recognize infection symptoms, what's actually happening when the skin is infected, and creating an action plan for your client to deal with that infection. For those of you who are new to my channel and don't know who I am, my name is Christy and I'm the owner of Boss Brows. I've been in the beauty industry for 9 years now, specializing in microblading and microblading training. This channel is all about microblading tips and tricks and ways to improve your business so that you can reach your brow goals and step up your brow game. So if this sounds like something for you, make sure to hit that subscribe button down in the corner because I come out with new videos every Tuesday. Disclaimer. I am not a medical professional. I am not a doctor. These are just my tips from my experience. I've been a licensed esthetician in both California and Missouri for 9 years now, and I've been performing microblading procedures for 4 years now and have my tattoo license. I will share my experience and tips to help you better understand microblading infections, but first and foremost, always have your client get medical assistance when they think they have an infection. Anytime you perform a microblading procedure, you are injuring the skin, and anytime the skin is injured, it needs to heal itself. And if you've taken one of my trainings, then you already know, but what does the skin need in order to heal? Does anyone know? It needs oxygen. The skin needs oxygen in order to repair itself. Basically what's happening when the skin has an infection from the microblading procedure is that the skin can't breathe because there's a buildup of product or thick scab that's suffocating the skin, therefore it can't heal properly. So really understanding the microblading healing process is important. I would highly recommend explaining to your client the healing process and what to expect, reviewing correct aftercare with them so that they know how to take care of their brows. Normal microblading healing will take about 30 days. However, the visible healing, which is what I like to call it, takes about 10 to 14 days. The moment you're done with your microblading procedure, the client's skin will begin to heal itself. And the way it does that is by oozing out plasma to create a protective layer. This will be forming a thin film or a scab. Normal healing will have a thin film. It may be a little itchy when it starts to scab over. The brows may be a little tender immediately after the procedure. There may be minor swelling and a little bit of redness around the brows, but that should subside in a couple hours. How can you recognize if there's an infection? Symptoms of an infection: thick, raised scab, crusty texture, redness around the skin, yellow discharge. The client may feel pain or itchiness. It could also feel a little hot. If you see any of these symptoms, basically what's happening is the client has developed a thick layer or scab that's clogging the skin or suffocating the skin so it can't breathe. And in order for the skin to heal itself, it needs oxygen. Therefore, proper healing can't occur. This could be the result of a buildup of product, which could be because the client is overusing the product and not washing the skin. Anytime you are applying product to the microbladed eyebrows, you need to wash the skin. If you don't, there will be a buildup of that product and the skin can't breathe. Part of the aftercare directions I give my client is apply the serum that I provide 2 to 3 times a day, a very thin layer, and wash the brows 1 to 2 times a day with soap and water. You want to use a non-scented antibacterial soap. Personally, I always recommend Cetaphil. Lather it in your fingertips, dab it on the area, get some water and wash it off, and then pat them dry. Then you can reapply your product, whether it's a serum, ointment, whatever. If your client contacts you and they have any of these symptoms and you're worried that they may have an infection, this is what I would recommend. Have an action plan. The first thing you want to tell your client is to stop using any of the product that they were using. Take a warm shower and let their face sit under the shower. That way, the brows can start to soften and that thick scab will begin to loosen from the skin, so it will start to fall off. After about 5 to 10 minutes in the shower, with the water splashing on their face, have your client gently rub the scabs until the scabs fall off. This way the skin can breathe again. Then when they get out of the shower, have them pat them dry and tell them not to do anything. Don't put serum on it, Neosporin, nothing. Direct them to call their medical professional instead. This way they can get the attention they need. This is a good and safe action plan. You also want to make sure that you're practicing safety and sanitation, proper way to set up your room and dispose of blades, and just overall have a clean working environment. You want to explain correct aftercare to your client so that they can take care of their bras at home. And you also want to explain the healing process so they can understand what is to expect. Recently, I just had a client who called me a little concerned that she may have one of her eyebrows infected. Now, this is really scary for your client and stressful for you as the artist. So having good communication and an action plan is very important. Following these steps and having your client call their doctor is the best approach. This is what I did with a client that called me recently with a concern of an infection. She said the next day her brows felt so much better, the redness was gone, the thick scab was gone, and the skin was able to breathe again and continue healing. If you want to check out that safety and sanitation video for your room setup, I'll post that right here. Otherwise, I'll see you next Tuesday. Thanks for watching.